Good morning, everybody, especially to those of us in Ghana, and then for those of you in Kenya, is a good afternoon. You're all welcome to this today's session, which kind of would look at lesson 1. I'm sure by now most of you, and it is required that most of you should have gone through lesson 1 and should have attempted all the questions that have been posted. So today's session is to go through that and kind of review some of your submissions, and then also hear from you how well you understood the course material. If there's a need for some clarification on my part, I will go ahead and do that. So you're all welcome to this morning's session. So for lesson 1, we're looking at identifying opportunities as agripreneurs. I mean, you've taken on a journey that is looking at wanting to provide some services to a targeted market or clients. So again, in trying to identify opportunities, let me just give a quick summary on this topic. So again, there are so many opportunities within the agricultural value chains. And the question is, how do you choose an opportunity to pursue? So for us, and from the course material, that opportunity is one that should satisfy a compelling or an unmet need in a market. Again, your focus should be on the market and then what resources you have. So in identifying the opportunities, you want to match your resources to how you can provide a solution to be able to deliver at a profit. And again, in identifying opportunities, there are already offerings on the market, and you are required to come up with something unique, and therefore you need not to simply copy what others are doing. Point is, how can you develop something that is very, very unique? So again, we, as agripreneurs, you're looking at what customers need, or you want to take an existing service in the market or a task that many hate to do. What you want to do is pick that up, try and identify exactly what the pain point of the customer is, and go in to be able to do that. So on a broader stroke, this is what we believe you should look at. We got you to go through the course material. And at this point, I want this session to be very, very interactive. So at this point, I'll open, I'll get everybody to contribute to how they understood the course material. So anybody willing to share what they read and how they understood it and what clarifications they need. So the floor is open. Well, let me break the ice and pick a few of the agripreneurs. So some of you have been very, very active, others have not been. Going through the responses, we have Priscilla Moni. Priscilla Moni, would you want to share with us how well you understood this topic? What stood out for you?
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Upon going through the coursework, I think what stood out for me was the the fact that along every step of our chain in production and processing, we are looking at creating value, the best value possible for the customer along each chain. So whether it is from, if you're an input provider, it means your customer is the next person on the chain, or your customer could be somebody even at the end of a chain. But you, based on your resources and where you think you can provide the best value, choose the pain points that are most suited to your strengths and capabilities. And so that is different from just putting a product on the market without listening to any feedback, without checking what the market wants, and just putting something out there because you've seen somebody else do the same thing. So for me, it means that for everything we need to do, we need to check with how that fits into our value chain and how that makes us progress forward as an industry.
Thank you very much. Back to you, Priscilla. And in doing that, what, with regards to the resources at hand and with what you do, when it comes to your skill set, what do you think helps you the most in this course?
So I think what this course for me helps the most is that it helps me to rethink most of the things that I think I had known off the bat. This course, especially when I was going through some of the assignments, I had to sit down and really write down what I think it's asking us to do. And it got me to really think deeply about how my current business is even affecting other members of the value chain, and helping me realize that most of the people in the value chain are not necessarily competing with me, but we are mostly try to respond to the needs we think the customers have in different ways. We need to find better ways of collaborating to solving the problems rather than looking at each other as competitors.
Right. Thank you. So there's something on, and I'm going to throw this to someone else. If we have Daniel Yakubu. So Daniel, when you read on or your study on the knowledge of your agri-value chain, what really stood out for you? Do we have Daniel here?
Yes, I'm here. There's Daniel Ado.
All right, Daniel, okay. So Daniel, share with us.
I think he meant, you meant Daniel Yakubu, right?
So we have Ado and Yakubu, is that it?
Yeah. So this is Daniel Yakubu.
Daniel Yakubu, okay, Daniel, take it. And then when Daniel Yakubu is done, Daniel Ado, you can also contribute something to the same thing. Thank you.
Yes, so when I wrote about my value chain, that is into cereals, just like Priscilla was saying, you have to understand that the other players or actors in the value chain are not competitors. Everyone is filling a void or a link along the chain. So it's understanding that both of you are playing complementary roles instead of competitive or competing against each other. So that was what I was able to understand. And then sitting down to analyze the sector I am in, I was able to understand that those things are critical in how we play our roles and then the general success of the industry as a whole.
All right, so you're looking at making sure that we are all complementing each other, is that it?
Yeah. Yes, to
Just
achieve
so that,
common goal.
right, okay.
And in so doing, all of us businesses will succeed.
Okay, okay. So Daniel, prior to reading the material, did you think that knowing your value chain critically was important? And what did this material tell you? Oh no, you're on mute. Daniela, you're muted. Please unmute.
Yeah, hello. Sorry, sir. I think I just joined in and then I didn't get the earlier submissions made. I don't really
Okay.
get. Yes.
Have you been able to go through the course material on identifying opportunities within the agri-value chain?
Well, I haven't been able to finish that. I think since yesterday I was having a bit of a challenge with the platform, and then it was this morning. I think Victor sent a video, and then I was able to. Yeah, so I actually haven't been able to go through all the materials yet.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
So thank you. I'll come back to you. So make it an effort to kind of finish the material, especially this topic, so that you can move to the next one and try and answer the questions. And this goes to all of us who haven't been able to go through the material. It's mandatory that you do that. To our Kenyan friends, anybody from Kenya who wants to contribute to what they learn with regards to knowing their value chain? Anybody from Kenya? Prof, would you want to pull out anybody from the crowd in Kenya for me?
I'm not sure who is who.
Okay.
Wycliffe, maybe Wycliffe can do that. Hi, Wycliffe.
Hi too.
Yeah, I believe you are in Kenya.
Yes, I'm in Kenya.
Yeah, would you kindly contribute so that we understand how this lesson went and what we would want to, how you applied it, how you feel it's relevant to you, and how we can apply.
Yeah, so for me, I also had some challenges. And our brother Victor sent us some video to guide us on how to access those questions and how we can answer them. But I have not yet gone through the entire material.
Okay.
Yes.
So please try and go through the material and complete the questions for us. I mean, you get to learn a lot, you go through it, and then once there are any clarifications, we support you to be able to do that.
Yes, I will. Thank you.
All right. Do I have Rashida Al-Hassan here? Okay, Tobet, can you help us? I mean, let us understand how well you went through the material and what stood out for you. Okay, so I'm going to throw this general question for us to kind of discuss when it comes to the identification of opportunities within the value chain. So let's look at the market. So you've done all your analysis, you've done your value chain analysis, and you have realized that you need to pick some feedback to be able to improve on what you want to offer. How important is this for you? Anyone wanting to contribute? Victor.
Fred, please, the question is not too clear to me.
It's not. Okay. All right. So let's, in your value chain analysis, okay, what approach for you, Grace, would you use based on what you learned in the course material?
As in identifying opportunities.
Yes, yes.
I think from what I learned in the course material, they've given 3 approach, and one is to identify your agri value chain. So what exactly do you want to work on? For me, I really love fruits and vegetables. I like to eat healthy. So one way of me eating healthy is to patronize fruits and vegetables. Almost every day, I set a target to eat fruits and vegetables. So working with anything fruits and vegetable, or making a product from anything fruits and vegetable gives me that joy, so that people can also eat that product and then get to eat that healthy meal or healthy product. So for me, identifying my agri value chain was to look at my fruits and vegetable value chain. And that was one way of identifying my opportunities. And then, so I was looking at my needs and then my resources. And that's what maybe after this session, I have to really sit down and grab it and know what needs and what resources I have. That's, I can use it to push my idea, because it got me thinking. I mean, what needs, what the needs, I kind of have an idea of the needs, because in my part of the world, most people don't take fruits and vegetables. And some think that it's expensive, others think that it's not really the main meal. So, I mean, what's important do I have to, will I get when I eat the fruits and vegetables? I just have to go for my maybe yam and stew or rice and stew and I'm full. But there's a need, because fruits and vegetables, the micronutrients and all of those things in it actually supplements the macronutrient, that's our rice and yam, to keep the body functioning. So for the needs, I've identified it, but I have to sit down to really know my resources. So the 3 keys in identifying the opportunities really got me thinking. And that's what I'm still thinking about it, honestly.
All right. Thank you very much. There was one exercise on trying to identify the needs of the customer, or the frustrations of the customer. And we looked at the Scamper technique. Did anyone look at this exercise, and how did you go about it? So this is an exercise that was on slide 78, trying to think outside the box. Let me see. Any contributions?
Mo's hand is raised.
Mo, please, over to you.
Thank you, Fred. I wanted to ask Grace some questions, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Hello, Grace. How are you?
I'm doing well here.
It was good to hear about your vegetable work. So do you already have a product, or you're still thinking about your business?
I have a first product, but it's not yet on the market.
You have a prototype.
Pardon?
You have a prototype.
Yes.
Good. So I think you are just like our last mentor, She also was interested in fish and fisheries, and I think you also share a passion for healthy eating, which is very good. It's important, and this is actually part of your resources, your interest. So your other resources include things like your skills, your knowledge, your experience, your creativity, your social network, people you know can help you. So do you have any of these that are relevant to the vegetable business?
Yes, what come in mind is my skills, my knowledge, and my creativity.
Would you mind sharing a bit on relevant skills, knowledge, and creativity?
Okay, so for my skills and knowledge, my background is a food scientist, so I know a lot about food and food production. And then I'm very much interested in product development. So I'll say that's my knowledge and my skill. And then
yeah, sorry. Keep going.
My creativity is how to combine things to develop new products that will suit specific purposes. So that's my creativity.
That's good. What about your network, your social network? Do you know anyone who, for example, grows vegetables back in your country? Do you know anyone who could help you market vegetables? Do you know anyone who can help you in your journey? It's a very important resource, the people you know.
Yes, so that's the resource that I'm beginning to think of. For now, my space have become a lot more of the academia kind of people. So they have the knowledge in theoretical knowledge, mostly in developing products, in trying to know what chemistry is behind this and that. But when I go to the farming aspect, I have to now find the resources in that space. I mean, the production part of the agri-value chain to support my business idea.
That's good. Another also resource is national resources in your region or in your area. Is your region famous for producing high quality vegetables, for example? Is the country importing vegetables from outside? So import is a great way to gauge current demand because you can substitute that import with a local product. So do you have any of these two? Grace, I cannot hear you.
Please, my sound went off. Maybe I would have to log out and log in again. I can't really hear anything.
Can you hear me now?
Hear you.
No.
What about now? Can you hear me?
Let me log out and log in again, please.
Fred, back to you.
Thank you, Mo. Priscilla, let me get back to you. Would you also want to share with us what you're currently doing? Do you already have a product? Are you at the idea stage? Would you want to share with us?
We are already in the market. So as one of the products I shared was the mushroom side. So we are part of the production side of the value chain. We produce, so we take inputs from bag producers, which we crop, and then we sell directly to consumers on the market. So we have what we have done to differentiate ourselves mostly is that we have different packaging needs. So for people who want it in smaller sizes, we have single-use serving sizes. We have people, we also serve people who want it in large quantity, like restaurants and hotels and other things. So we've tried to, at least for each segment of the market, try to figure out what they want, and we try to package it that way. It's not been an easy journey. It is still difficult. We are almost always having to call our suppliers to order. We are almost always having to look for new suppliers. In fact, I think the struggle never ends. Just 2 days ago, I still have I had to go to a totally new farm to try and get on board to onboard a new supplier. This course is getting us to rethink. Maybe we really need to backward integrate, and that way we can almost always make sure the customer gets what they want when they want it. For now, it's a struggle.
Right. So let's based on what you just said, what the customers are looking for and how you're looking to address that. Let's look at your resources. How are you leveraging on what you currently have and what you don't have? How do you want to get to that for those things you don't have, the resource?
A resource we badly need currently is a little bit of funds to help finish our setup at the farm. And then we can really control our temperature and humidity at the farm to make sure that at all points in time, we are getting optimum yields. For now, we have a few connections in that space, the cooling space. And as at 2 days ago, I had a chat with a customer who now wants to partner with us to take some of our products to sell. And fortunately for us, he produces cold storage. He actually imports containers and produces cold storage. And this is something I just learned 2 days ago. And I think connections, no matter who you meet and no matter who you serve, take each customer very seriously, because you don't know what business they are in and how that can eventually help you. So he has asked us to bring in a proposal to see how best he can help us solve our cooling and temperature issues at the farm. For other connections, we are trying to leverage our purchasing power on some of our suppliers to see if they would partner with us instead of just being their customers. They will actually enter into partnerships with us. But we are still looking at those arrangements to better leverage our connections.
Okay, thank you. Now to your market or to your customers, in your observations, how do they express their frustrations or their concerns to you? What mode do they use?
Some of them can be pretty direct. When they come to you, they'll say, you know what, for example, I want mushroom, but I don't want that one that has been grown with wheat because I don't eat gluten. And I want one that has been grown on rice. Like, some of the customers are direct when they approach you. This is what I want. If you don't have it, I don't want it. Some too, sometimes are not direct, but in your conversations with them, when you further ask them, oh, what's your feedback on the product we gave you? They might say certain things that give us a heads up as to how we can better serve the person the next time. Most of our large like the restaurants and co, they really are not very picky like the individual customers. But for example, we tried about a few weeks ago to pack our mushrooms in bigger box containers because we thought we're wasting too much plastic. And then we took it to the restaurants, and then they called us back to say that I think we made a mistake. We should have told them we want to conserve plastic, so we're using a different packaging. They told us straight up they don't like the new packaging we are trying to try. We should go back to the old one. So that was also another wake-up call. So I think feedback is important every step on the way. So, and that's how we are. Well, we are striving.
Right. Okay. Now let's look at the competition. You know, I know there are a lot of oyster mushroom growers on the market. Yeah. How different is your operations from theirs, especially when you're serving them your customers?
So most of the oyster mushroom producers are, let's say, small. They don't do a lot of, they don't have quantities. And we try to, most of the time, get produce for our customers when they want it. So they are not coming today and like, we are like, oh, we don't have some, to come back next week. We try to guarantee that every time they knock on our doors, we have something for them, which means that we work, instead of maybe competing, we work with other mushroom houses to get what our customers want. Because the demand is more than supply, I don't see most of the other people as competitors. Right. Because I need to work with them anyway. So what differentiates me from everybody else is that they mostly produce and want to serve restaurants and pack in big bags and cool. But we go the step further to pack in smaller sizes that our customers want. Not everybody can buy a 30 CD bag. Maybe one person wants just 5 CD. We have that available. If you want just 10 CD, we have that available. So that the customer who wants something small can also walk away with it.
Okay, thank you very much. Grace, would you want to continue with your stories and then we'll close you up, and then I pick Kavita Indolo. I'll come to you when Grace is done, so please get ready to share your story. Grace.
So I wasn't hearing what he was saying, so if you can come again, then I'll respond.
Well, please, would you want to take that again, and then I get...
Yeah, welcome back, Grace.
Thank you.
So I was just saying national resources are an important resource also as part of your resources. So is your region famous for producing high quality vegetables?
Yes, both fruit and vegetables.
Okay, that's great. So that's one of the two pillars of identifying a suitable opportunity. Like we just heard now with the oyster mushrooms. So one is your resources, but the other part is the market. So the first step to understand the market, understanding the value chain, where you are in the value chain. So I think you are in the second actor of the value chain because you have inputs and then you have production. So you're going to be producing, correct?
I was thinking I'm in the processing because someone will produce the fruits for me, then I'll process it into my products.
Okay. So you're going to be getting your vegetables from people who are going to be grow it, and then you're going to add value to it.
Yes, exactly.
What kind of value are you going to add?
Processing them into baby foods. So different combinations of ingredients to make unique baby foods.
Ah, that's great.
Fruits-based baby food.
Okay, and why specifically baby food? what is the unmet need in the market now in that value chain? What is the frustration or the unmet need you are trying to tackle with producing this product?
So, as I was saying earlier, my part of the world, fruits and vegetables are not a priority. Some people eat it once a week, some once in 2 weeks. So, but it's very important we eat it daily in our meals for the day. So the need I'm meeting is for us to incorporate it into our baby food. First, to help in boosting their immune system, and second, to develop that fruits and vegetable taste from infancy, so that their eating habits will from the start be how do I put it? They will adapt to the fruits and vegetable taste, so that when they grow, it wouldn't become something new. Most of us, we eat more of the carbohydrates and all of that, but when the child take that, they start from infancy to take fruits and vegetables, it doesn't become new to them. Because I know most of the children, when you put vegetable in their food, they pick it out because they never started eating the vegetable from infancy. So that's what we are trying to, the need we are trying to meet.
Yes, that is a great, it's a great goal, and it's very honorable. And I understand the nutritious value of it to the country and to people. But the issue here is not a business goal. So what you need, now you have an assumption that there is an unmet need or demand for nutritious baby food. You understand that this is something that is good for people, it's nutritious as a food scientist, it's good to have, it's good for the country and all that. But in order for you to be able to sell, you need someone who share this vision with you. You need a group of, let's say, mothers who understand this, who are frustrated because they cannot find this product in the market now, and that's where you're coming in. That's where you're intervening in that specific unmet need. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. We are working on that.
Good. So I think it's good to have an assumption. You brainstorm with your team, you come up with these, but then you have to verify that assumption in the next steps. So I think you are perfectly aligned to the course, because this week is about developing these assumptions, identifying an opportunity. So you look at the next step for you is to look at the value chain, understand where are the frustrations, and then develop these assumptions. You work on them, refining them. Next week, we're going to talk about interviewing and talking to customers. So I think it's going to be ideal for you to now understand the value chain, where you are in the value chain, develop these assumptions, and next week, we're going to verify these assumptions by talking to some people.
All right, well noted. I'll be expecting
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Fred, back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Mo. So on that part, I also have Matthew, who is also in the vegetable space. Matthew, could you share with us where in the value chain you fall?
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, I just joined there. Anyway, so I do production, direct production.
Right, okay. So what was this unmet need you identified?
Okay, actually, depending on the area.
Yeah. I mean, you're into production, right? What pushed you into production and not any other part of the value chain? Have we lost you? Okay, so if we've lost Matthew, Kavita Ndolo, would you want to share with us what you do?
Hi guys, my name is Kavita Ndolo. I'm from Kenya. I started farming a year ago, officially around March. Then we started a farm, registered. Initially, I just wanted to do pig farming, but then once I moved, I was in the city. I moved back to our farm, which is about 70 kilometers away from the city, like where I was raised. But immediately I got there, we just found like so many opportunities within the value chain for things we could do at the farm. So at the moment, what we do, I raise pigs. I also have, I'm starting a pop-up plantation, and we do a lot of vegetables. These are collard, spinach, nightshade, amaranth. Some of them are just indigenous vegetables that we sell to local markets. On top of that, we've been doing fruits for a while, like mangoes, bananas, and oranges. So those are already existing. It's just a matter of like working out the value chain better. So yeah, that's what we have.
Right. So you're basically into production, you said.
Yes. Yeah, I'm into production.
Okay. Again, with the identification of opportunities and having gone through the course material, beyond production, are there other opportunities you've identified within the value chain you want to take advantage of?
Yeah, I think the biggest one that I've identified is especially on pork, on pigs and what I do. Where I come from, the whole county does not have a slaughterhouse. So like the arrangement that you have is usually to have the meat slaughtered wherever you are, and then the vet will come to inspect. So one of the things we are hoping to start soon is a proper slaughterhouse. We'll be probably the only one in the county. So it will help me to not just sell my live pigs, but rather be able to slaughter and package the meat myself, because the demand is already existing and it's quite high. So that's something we are very keen on doing. Like actually most of our opportunities are within the pork value chain, because there are not that many people supplying. So like the demand is much higher than the supply. So we're trying to meet that demand, but as well think of ways where we can add value and sell better. Because at the farm, when you're just selling, pigs for slaughter, you do around $3 per kg. But if you take them to market, you could do $5, $6 per kg, which is and the cost of adding that value is not that high. It's just setting up a proper slaughterhouse that is approved by government and all that. The other thing I want to get into is over the last 1.5 years of being pigs, one of the biggest challenges we've had is feeds. And at the moment, at least the last 6 months, we've been able to figure out a way to do our own feeds, and no one is into that yet. So we've had to do actually proper studies on what's needed for feeds and sourcing materials and things like that. And because of that, we've been able to come up with our own formula that's really working. So when most farmers visit our farm, they're really impressed, and they wonder what it is that we use. And from that, I've already had 2 customers that want to buy the feeds that I mix at the farm, which is something that initially I was not looking to do. I was doing it for myself, but an opportunity has occurred where people are frustrated. And then also the frustration is that you cannot trust the quality of what's offered in commercial feeds nowadays, and then the prices keep changing, especially with COVID, export and import restrictions, movement restrictions. You find that prices fluctuate so much. At some point they were doing like 50, about $0.50 per kg, which is really expensive for most farmers, and it wasn't profitable at all. So one of the things I'm hoping to start now in the short term is selling my feeds. So getting them certified and packaging and supplying to the local farmers around, because the demand is already there, and they trust what they've already seen. Because I'm a farmer myself and they've seen the effect of those feeds, that's an opportunity we're really looking to see if we can capitalize on that.
Right. So again, it's clear that you have identified some unmet needs in the value chain. Let's look at the resources available to you now and what you don't have, and for the ones you don't have, what steps are you taking to make sure that you're able to get them to push this business to the next level?
One of the things we're doing at the moment is talking to farmers that grow the ingredients. Where the farm is, maize does not do so well. So we're talking to farmers from other parts of the country that grow maize, which is the main ingredient needed in our feeds. So we're actually scouting and seeing a way we can either lease out land and grow out our own maize in like a different region, and at the same time talking to farmers around there to aggregate so that they can bring to us. This research initially was just for us to get a good supply chain for our own feeds. But now that we're going on a higher scale, it's made us to research some more on that. The other thing, besides getting a good supply chain for your raw materials, we're also working on getting a plant. So we're working on getting power. We are totally off-grid, so we have someone who is doing the estimation for us for how much it will cost in terms of installing a solar plant, because you need to mill the feeds and mix them and things like that. So we might have to set up a small off-grid system that initially it will be a high investment, but over 2-3 years and the times afterwards, it will pay itself off quite easily, because we've already done a couple of solar plants like that, because everything we do is powered by solar on the farm, from pumping to lighting to all the power needs. So at least on the side of the machinery, we are covered. When it comes to the funds needed for that, we've been reaching out to organizations that we work with. We work with a climate fund here that helped us expand on the irrigation side of things and on the pumping side of things. And then we also work with the government parastatal here that also provides farmers with loans for machinery and things like that at below market rates in terms of interest. So we're talking to those two so that we can work out something that will help us boost us in the beginning, because the capital needs are quite intensive.
Right. Thank you. Is anyone speaking? Mo, do you have anything to add to it? Any question from your end?
No.
Okay. Kavita?
Can you hear me, Fred?
Yeah.
No, it's very interesting. I think the mentor we had, the last mentor we had, was very relevant to you. No?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting to hear, and best of luck.
Okay. Thank you very much. So back to you, Kavita. In the study of the material, what really stood out for you based on what you just described to us?
Well, what really stood out where?
Sorry, your line is...
Yeah, I didn't get your question properly, sorry.
When you review the materials, what did you find very interesting? The course material, yeah.
Hey, there was so much that really helped me. I think actually what I have is more of like a general comment, which is something I really appreciate is happening with this course. In my experience, especially because I mean I've only been farming 2 years, but coming from a corporate setting kind of thing, I found that most farmers operate out of passion, out of going to fields instead of asking business questions. So my favorite thing about the course material is that it's training us to approach everything like a business, not with so much sentiment, but actually in terms of like asking really difficult questions that you probably wouldn't ask. So not starting things out of an idea, but actually like doing the market research, finding out the gaps, and especially looking for those opportunities, looking for who is frustrated. So because most people in my experience that especially get into farming here, it's a matter of sometimes it's a need that you've perceived might be there, but you don't actually have the research done. So I like that the material teaches us how steps to take to verify whether our assumptions are correct. So that you don't just start with an assumption and then you find that it's either a short-term need that is gonna burn out after 2-3 years, or you find out that your target customer is imaginary and is not real. So finding out that information will actually open up more opportunities. Like that was my biggest take, was just realizing that as much as research and all those things can be tiring, and putting together a proper business plan feels way outside what someone expects of a farmer, that is the way to succeed, because it will show you exactly what you need, and as well open up opportunities that you never knew were there already. So that's what I liked most about going through the material, like getting that business end of things and finding practicable things that I can apply in whatever opportunity you see, like whether it's what I want to do with my vegetables and supplying the local market, or whether it's what I want to do with my pig business and expanding on the feed side and things like that. It's templates of thinking that I can apply in every idea that I have. And it's also a good push to go beyond production, because I think everyone that has done agriculture knows that value addition is where it's at. It's where like there's more profit, and it protects you from so much and gives you more like long-term customers. So when you're producing, you already know where you're taking them because you're adding value and it's easy to track, that kind of thing. So I'm really encouraged by this material to be always on the lookout for opportunities and not just see them, but actually work through them and see what works. And I think doing all that will help me get through it, like get to scale up bigger and find out opportunities that I never thought existed in my value chain.
Right. Thank you very much, Dewita.
Okay.
Thanks for sharing your story with us. Who else wants to share something with us here? Ketish, I saw you on mute. Is there something you want? Can you tell us what you're into? How you've used the first lesson to improve on what you're doing? Ketish? Okay, I have here Victor. Victor, would you be the last person to share a story for us? Can you tell us what you're into, how well you understand your role in the value chain, how well you understood the unmet needs of your customers? Would you want to share that with us? Victor Boafo.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay.
So initially, Entofarms basically is into the production of insect protein that reduces traditional protein sources for livestock like soya and fish meal. So initially, the goal was to begin production of poultry, but then we quickly realized that the costs involved were quite high. So I proceeded further to carry out some research, and I saw that the country, Ghana, was importing huge volumes of this poultry meat. And the local producers definitely couldn't compete with the price of imported meat. So my partner and I decided to sit back and reassess the value chain. So we decided that the cost of the feeding cost starts from the feed. So we decided to go into the production of the feed itself. So we began by looking for cheaper alternatives, and we came across the black soldier fly. And that's how it all started. So right now, what we do is we rear the insect, and then we process it into an insect meal that can replace the soya bean and fish meal in these livestock.
All right. Again, let's look at what you identified. I mean, you have a certain clientele in mind. What was that critical unmet need?
Okay, so currently, due to our size, we currently focus on smallholder farmers because they are the most open to such products. And when we carried out some research, we found out that all what farmers wanted was an affordable product, which we then offer to them. Affordability and quality. So in order for us to have succeeded in such, we had to carry out a few feed trials to convince the client base on the quality of our products.
Okay, let's look at your resources you're using to kind of match this unmet need. I mean, based on the course material, what is it that is missing?
Fred, can you repeat yourself?
Okay, so let's look at your resources. What resources do you currently have? What don't you have? And what steps are you taking to ensure that you have these resources to be a very, very profitable or operational?
Oh, okay. Okay, so in terms of the resources, we look at it in various levels. One is the administrative resources, and the second one is the operational resources. So in terms of the administrative resources, we currently aren't licensed by any regulatory body, and we are working on getting licensed by the Ghana Standard Authority because credibility is a key to success in any business in Ghana. So in order for us to work with commercial producers and other farmers alike, we need to ensure that we get licensed by these governmental agencies to improve the credibility and viability of our business. And in terms of the operational side of the business, we don't have any fixed staff. Our staff come on part-time basis because due to the nature of the work. So anytime we work with new people, we have to retrain them into the harvesting process and of the production process. I don't know if that was clear.
Yeah. And how are you dealing with your competitors, if any?
Okay, so the size of the market is such that it's quite big. So as of now, we don't see many competitors. What we want to do is, in order for us to grow fast, we want to develop an outgrower model so we could churn out a larger quantity of insect meal to the market. That means we want to work with smaller producers who will then train to, produce the insect larvae. And then we buy it back from them and then offload it onto the markets. So right now, the only issue we are facing is, I wouldn't say it's competitors, it's increasing the supply of our products.
Okay. In your analysis of the value chain, what have you identified as opportunities beyond what you currently do? What are some of the future developments you think would occur?
Okay. So in terms of the value chain, we are currently looking at further processing the insect meal into fish feed, because one of the potential markets and a very fast growing market in Ghana is the catfish industry. And per the research we did, which was sponsored by Cosmos, we found out that these catfish farmers were the most likely group to patronize insect meal in the production of feed. But then the issue with this is that with the insect meal, we can't feed it directly to the fish because we need equipment to extrude the product and convert it into fish feed. So as part of the future plans, we intend on developing feed out of this insect meal to specific aquaculture.
Right. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Any other contribution to what was said?
Please, can I ask Victor a question?
Please do.
Hi, Victor. My name is Daniel.
Hi, Daniel.
Victor, I'm also I work professionally in the insect or entomophagy industry in Ghana. Come again.
Can you please repeat yourself?
So I'm saying that I also work in the insect industry in Ghana, but our roles are quite different. Okay. Human consumption of insect as protein.
All right. Wow.
I thought there were a few things I could share with you.
Sure.
So, for example, you were trying to adapt an outgrower model, right?
Yes, please.
I think that will be much difficult for you to manage than rather scaling up, because you have the technology, you have the knowledge, and then you can't, let's say it's all about quality control. You can vouch for your product if it is produced by yourself than if it is produced by a lot of different people, which you are advocating. It comes with a lot of issues that you need to address, which will be more challenging compared to you just growing it yourself. That's my
Oh, thank you very much. Feedback well taken.
Yeah, I'm saying this from experience of growing palm weevil.
Did you say from growing bamboo?
Palm weevil larvae, akokono in Ghana.
Oh, okay, akokono.
Yes.
So to you, Daniel, could you just describe what products you're working on?
So, funny enough, I have two business models going. One is my professional work and one is my personal entrepreneurship agendas. So I don't know which one will be more appropriate for this, but I'll just choose one.
Well, let's work on based on the recommendation you just gave to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm an employee of a company in Ghana that produces edible insects. And what we do there, or what I do there, is that I'm the operations manager there. So most of the issues we are discussing, I'm learning, and I'm also relating it to some of my experiences here. So some of the things that we are talking about today, that is identifying opportunities, assessing the value chain and other things. How we do it here is that in Ghana, we realize that there are a lot of people whose diet or nutrition is without protein. So a lot of people eat food, but the food or the nutritional or protein content of the food is lacking. So it would have been best if we could find an alternative source of protein that is affordable and readily acceptable to everyone in the community or in Ghana. So upon research and from other things from other research organizations, some team of students from McGill University instituted or set up a company in Ghana that is into palm weevil larvae production for human consumption as protein. So that is what we do. And when you look at that insect space, like Victor is saying, we are there. The black soldier fly producers are also there, but they are mostly focused on producing their insects for other farming activities or other as feed for other insects or animals. So you see black soldier flies, cockroach farmers, they are all trying to feed fish and poultry industries, but we are into producing it for human beings. That's the difference between us and them. And if you look at our customers and then the feedback, we are targeting human beings and also the rural families, those that are in rural areas and cannot afford fish or a kg of beef. And those people too are already used, because they are in the local communities, they are already used to using insects as feed. Virtually every community in Ghana eats different insects as food or source of protein. We, the Northerners, take termites. The Southerners here take palm weevil larvae. The palm weevil larvae spreads from the Ashanti region, the Eastern region, the Volta region. Quite all the southern parts of Ghana consume the palm weevil larvae. And we also believe that by modifying the product, we now have what we call gateway products. So if someone is quite hesitant or quite resistant to trying out insect as food, we have or gateway products such as biscuits that is made from the palm weevil larvae that you can try. So just eating biscuits, you don't see the full form of the insect in it. If you get the nutrient, and then if you also get to grow to like the taste, then continue purchasing more of other products from that, such as shito that is bottled using the full fat flour or just the flour from the palm weevil larvae that has been dried and used as substitute for fish powder when you are producing shito. So basically, that's what we do.
Right. Thank you very much. Now let me conclude by looking at resources, and this is open to everyone on this call. Okay, we put out some exercises where we said you should look at how to go over this curve. Okay, so you're looking at, to be able to do this well with regards to resources, what are your strengths? So you're asking yourself, what am I good at? What are your interests? I mean, again, around resources, how do you leverage on the people you know? And how can they help you in your journey? So I'm throwing this out to anybody. What do you think are your 5 main strengths when it comes to the resources around you? Edmond, Senor, I haven't heard you speak today. So you've identified the unmet need in the market. You want to move to the next level where you're looking at your resources, okay? And we've described what the resources are. Again, to be able to pursue it, let me find out from you what you think your main strengths are in being able to do this. Matthew, would you want to take it?
All right. So,
Okay, that's Edmund. Okay.
yeah, Edmund, good morning to you all. Thank you, Daniel, Victor. I think I had a question earlier, but then it's been answered. So just a quick one on the question you just brought on board, the resources. I think for myself, I can talk of two strengths that I can use in getting to go through my markets, as you rightly said. I think communication is a key, and networking with the right people who have the expertise. So mostly we meet people every now and then, but before we can get to know what they do and how they can help us, I think we have to first initiate a communication between them. Oh, okay, I'm Ed. This is what I'm into. This is what I do. This is what I do. How about you? So once you get to know the person, you get to know the background of the person. I think I easily get along. Once in a while I check up. Okay, so is there any way you could help me in this, in terms of knowledge, in terms of this? So I think communication has been one of my strengths, and also trying to keep my network base. So once I have a connection with you, I try to continuously keep you as part of my network. So as and when I need you, I can call upon you at any time. I think these two are my strengths that I can actually push across. I'm still working on others, but then I think these two are for now. Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Danielado, would you want to share with us? Around
thank you.
So, okay, go on.
So, with my strength, what I do, I just started papaya farming, and then
please speak up a bit for us.
Bought the training by Ghana Export Promotion Authority. Then they are trying to help us reach markets, as in get on board the export market. So I can say that's a strength, as in not trying to sell to the local market only when production is fully complete. So I would say that's a strength I have. And then also the branding, we're trying to put out there, trying to get our products well packaged to some shops and then supermarket. It's also, I would say that's also a strength that will help me get to where I want to get to. So that's it.
Right. Thank you. Grace, would you want to share with us? So with Grace, I want you to highlight on what your interests are. You know, what's that you like doing, and how is that helping your business in the area of resources? What are your interests?
So what I wrote down, my one of my interests is healthy eating. Another interest is cooking, and another interest is teaching people what right eating or healthy eating is all about. So I get a lot of my friends, when they are coming to cook, they come back to me. I want to use this vegetable for this. I want to use, and I'm always happy to help them out. So that's my interest. And for what is helping my business out, because I have passion for it, I always want to find ways and means to combine one or two fruits or vegetable or food ingredient that can make a very healthy diet, or a very, not just healthy, but very tasty diet. So that is one resource that is driving my creativity in making food products.
Thank you. Sikuku, would you want to share with us your strengths? For you, let's focus on the natural resources that is available to you and how you're using that as a resource. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Some of the is in terms of land, and with the land, especially I'm doing poultry. I'm able to plant like kales, and also I have a friend who is introducing me to some of the aquatic plants, and I can also construct then put in those aquatic plants, then they'll be useful for my birds. So it is also another way of is also a good resource to me. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Trying to pick. Initially, I reached out to Ketich. Are you online? Do you want to share with us in the area of your resources what is available to you?
Okay. My name is Ketich from Kenya, and I practiced beekeeping since I was in my 4th year in campus. But I'm from Baringo, and is where it's being produced in large quantity. After some times, I realized that was producing, and competition was a bit creative, and I came up with harvesting of bee venom, the venom from the bee, and I partnered with some of my friends from Nairobi, and we produced and then we exported the produce, and that's where my business flourished. Whenever you are in a situation whereby you're producing the same product in the same area, it is a bit tricky. So you have to be creative and innovate new ways, or produce something from the same product which is a bit different to beat the market. Thanks.
You're done. Okay. All right. So to wrap up on that, in identifying the opportunities around us, resources play a key role. I mean, there are a lot more resources around us than we think or know. The advice here is you need to focus on what your strengths are. So we just went through that. You need to focus on your areas of interest, because you tend to work better when you love what you do. And again, let's not forget on some of our social resources. Let's talk to people. Let's inquire, be it our friends, family, state institutions, and all that.
Hello.
And finally, there are some natural resources around us that we could take advantage of. Abraham, do you want to say something?
Yes, please. Yes, please. Yeah, sorry, I've been busy, but that's why I've been off. I have a lot of things to share in terms of identifying opportunities. I'm a man of jack of all trades, actually. Yeah, I'm working in the poultry industry, and my role is quality control and assurance. So what I do is I check the raw materials, the quality of the raw materials. That's the best when they take in will not affect their health, because garbage in, garbage out. So if the birds don't get the quality of the raw material that it is used to produce the feed for them, they won't be able to give out a good egg, or probably their their development of their muscles and tissues won't be correct. So that is what actually I do. Along that, I've been able to do something. We've placed some questionnaires that we are yet to check, we want feedback from customers, I mean the farmers, to see how the feed is performing on their farm, as well as to see our competitors, how we are doing with them, along with them, whether our feed is quality or not. But we believe, we've heard that, yes, indeed, our feed is quality. Also, what I've decided to do is, I have a couple of friends that we've come together. We are trying to set up a very big poultry industry to also employ people, actually. We are still working on the proposal. We are working with one minister who is trying to give us a land so that we'll put up a structure. Actually, I'm in the technical department. So the health of the birds, when there's anything in terms of poultry, they are sick, they are not feeling well, anything, I go in, check how the structure should be. I always do that to check so that the birds will have a optimum growth as well. So that's what I try to do. Apart from that, that's what I'm doing. Apart from that, also we've come up with another thing. We've seen that farmers are having issue with finances. So we want to try and create some loan. So let's say we'll create a farmers association actually.
Ram, if you could summarize for us, because
Okay.
we are a bit running out of time. I
Okay,
want to close this
so
in the next.
in a nutshell, what I'm trying to do is, we are trying to gather information to be able to use the resources available, including the farmers themselves, so that in case they are in trouble, we'll use the same money to help them. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do, actually. So communication, as my brother said, communication and teamwork is what we are using to foster our opportunity, actually. In a nutshell, that's all about what I'm trying to say.
All right. Thanks so much for sharing. I would want you to contribute more in our subsequent lessons. And again, I'll be happy if you go through the course materials and do a lot of the assignments. Yeah. So if to wrap up for this session, I mean, we've all seen how important it is to look at steps in trying to identify opportunities within the agri value chain. You're supposed to identify what the unmet needs are. We've gone through all that. So again, there are some action principles we need to look at when it comes to the needs and problems of our market. Again, last week we looked at the personal initiative. So for this, the advice is you need to be self-starting when you're looking for problems. You need to be future thinking again when you're looking for problems. And finally, you need to see the changes in your environment as an opportunity for development and not as a barrier, as they create new needs and problems to be served. On resources, just as I said, there are more resources around us than we think. We've looked at focusing on your strength to be able to do this. So you need to devote a lot of your time to do the things you do very well. Focus on your areas of interest, which helps you to work better. And again, look at what your social resources around you are. Speak to people, inquire, do your research. And then finally, what are the natural resources around you that helps you to kind of do this very, very well. So that's it for today's session on lesson 1. Please, I urge all of you to go back to the lessons and answer them. It helps us to provide feedback to you. It's just a handful of you that have done the exercises. In group 1, I have just 1, 2, 3, 4, just 4 people. This is not acceptable. If you have challenges, please reach out to us like you did this morning. We've given you a video on how to set up your platform very well. So I want to thank you for your time. Over to you, David. Hi, David.
I think maybe David is not here, but thanks a lot, Fred. I was really impressed with the colleagues who shared, and I think Kavita really captured I think he also left. He really captured the essence of the course. And like you said, it's important to do the slides, do the assignment, so be able to graduate. So thank you, everyone who contributed. Thank you for your time, and we wish you a happy weekend. And reach out to us whenever you need anything. Please feel free to leave the call now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. All right. Enjoy your weekend.
So thanks, Fred.
Hi, sir.